Have you ever met someone and felt an instant, unexplainable pull? Not just attraction, but recognition, as if your soul whispered, "Ah, there you are. I've been waiting." You marry them, build a life, share quiet mornings and loud evenings, and then the storms come. The same arguments, the same triggers, the same quiet ache you thought love would finally fix. What if I told you that none of this is an accident? What if the person you chose wasn't meant to complete you, but to awaken you? In Buddhist wisdom, marriage is rarely just romance. It is a karmic classroom, a mirror, a sacred invitation to heal what has been hidden for lifetimes. Today we'll walk gently into this truth, not to blame, not to fear, but to understand why your heart chose exactly who it did, and how that very choice can become your greatest path to peace. Part 1. The Invisible Thread. Karmic Connections in Love and Marriage. Long before vows are spoken, before rings are exchanged, before two lives intertwine beneath the same roof, there is an invisible thread. Buddhism calls it karma, not as punishment, not as fate, but as the quiet, natural law of cause and condition. Every meeting, every lingering glance, every sudden certainty that says, "This is the one," arises from seeds planted long ago. Sometimes in this life, sometimes in seasons we no longer remember. When you feel that deep, almost magnetic recognition with someone, it is rarely random. The heart does not choose by logic alone, it chooses by resonance. Unfinished lessons, unspoken apologies, unhealed wounds that whisper across time, seeking resolution. The Buddha taught that all phenomena arise dependent on conditions. Love is no exception. What we call chemistry or destiny is often the soul's quiet memory reaching out to complete a cycle. But here is where many of us stumble. We mistake karmic familiarity for permanent peace. We believe that because the connection feels profound, it will always feel easy. Yet the very depth that draws us together is often the same depth that will ask us to grow. Karmic bonds are not designed to keep us comfortable. They are designed to wake us up. Think of a river meeting the ocean. At first there is turbulence. Currents clash. Sediment rises. The water turns cloudy, unfamiliar, almost chaotic. But slowly, inevitably, the river learns to flow with the tide. It does not lose itself, it expands. So it is with karmic love. The friction is not a sign that you chose wrongly. It is a sign that you chose precisely what your spirit needed to evolve. We often ask, why did I marry them? But the deeper question is, what is this relationship asking me to see? When we shift from seeking comfort to seeking clarity, the entire landscape of love changes. The weight lifts, the blame softens, and we begin to walk not as victims of circumstance, but as students of the heart. Part 2. A Zen story. The monk, the mirror, and the unfinished lesson. Centuries ago, in a quiet mountain monastery wrapped in pine and mist, there lived a young monk named Kaito. He was diligent, gentle, and deeply committed to the path. Yet whenever he sat in meditation, a particular face would appear in his mind. A woman from his village, someone he had loved before taking vows. Her laughter, her tears, the way she looked at him when he left without a word. The memory clung like morning fog, refusing to burn away. One evening, Kaito approached his teacher, Master Ryokan, and confessed his struggle. "I came here to find peace," he said, voice trembling slightly. "But my heart keeps returning to her. Did I make a mistake? Is this attachment a failure on the path?" The old master smiled softly. He walked to the meditation hall, picked up a polished bronze mirror, and held it before Kaito. "Tell me," he asked, "What do you see?" "My face," Kaito replied. "And if the mirror is clouded?" the master asked. "Then I see only shadows, distortions, nothing clear." Master Ryokan nodded slowly. "Your heart is not failing you, Kaito. It is showing you what remains unpolished. That woman is not your distraction. She is your mirror. The love you feel, the guilt you carry, the longing that follows you into silence, these are not chains. They are invitations. Until you meet them with awareness, they will return. Not to punish you, to teach you." Kaito sat with those words for many months. He stopped fighting the memory. Instead, he breathed with it. He observed the ache without judgment. He wrote letters he never sent. He forgave himself for leaving. He forgave her for staying. And slowly the face in his mind softened. Not because she changed, but because he did. Years later, when travelers asked Master Ryokan how to recognize a true teacher, he would simply say, "Look for the one who shows you yourself, even if they wear the face of a lover, even if they break your heart open." Part 3. Modern life example, when love feels like a storm. Let us step out of the monastery and into a quiet suburban kitchen. It's 7 p.m. Dishes are piled in the sink. A long workday lingers in tired shoulders. Sarah and David have been married for 6 years. They love each other, truly. But tonight something small, a forgotten errand, a misplaced tone, a sigh that lands heavier than intended, ignites a familiar fire. "You never listen," Sarah says, voice tightening. "I'm exhausted. Can we not do this again?" David replies, turning toward the window. The silence that follows is heavy, not because of the words, but because of the echo. This argument has happened before, in different rooms, over different topics, but the rhythm is the same, the hurt is the same, the retreat is the same. In that moment, it's so easy to believe the problem is the other person. Easy to think, if only they would change, I would finally feel at peace. But what if the storm isn't about the dishes? What if it's about the little girl inside Sarah, who learned long ago that her voice didn't matter? What if it's about the boy inside David, who was taught that showing emotion meant weakness, that love was earned through silence and endurance? We carry these invisible histories into our marriages. We don't just marry a person, we marry their wounds, and they marry ours. When triggers flare, it's rarely about the present moment. It's about the past knocking on the door, asking to be seen, asking to be held, asking to finally be released. Buddhist psychology teaches that suffering arises not from what happens, but from how we relate to what happens. When we react to old pain, we replay old patterns. We speak from the child, not the adult. We defend the wound, not the relationship. But when we pause, when we place a hand on the heart and whisper, "This is not just about now, this is about then," everything shifts. The storm doesn't disappear, but you stop drowning in it. You learn to stand in the rain without blaming the sky. You begin to see that your partner is not the source of your pain. They are the catalyst for your healing. Part 4. The mirror effect. How relationships reveal hidden wounds. Have you ever noticed how the people closest to us have the uncanny ability to press exactly the right buttons? Not out of malice, but out of proximity. Intimacy removes the armor we wear in the world. And when the armor falls, what's underneath finally breathes. This is the mirror effect. Your partner does not create your wounds, they reveal them. Like sunlight streaming through a window, they illuminate the dust that was always there. The jealousy flares when they spend time with others, the fear that rises when they grow quiet. The defensiveness snaps when they offer gentle feedback. These are not flaws in your love, They are signposts pointing toward unhealed places within you. The Buddha once said, "Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared." Yet so often we approach love as if it were a limited resource. We guard it, we test it, we demand proof. Why? Because somewhere along the way we learned that love could be withdrawn, that we had to earn it, that we might lose it if we weren't perfect or quiet or endlessly accommodating. When your partner triggers you, pause, breathe, ask gently, what is this really about? Is it about them leaving the cap off the toothpaste? Or is it about the childhood fear of being overlooked? Is it about them working late? Or is it about the old belief that you are not enough to keep someone close? This is not about taking blame. It is about taking responsibility for your inner landscape. When you stop pointing outward and begin looking inward, conflict transforms. It becomes sacred ground. A place where two people stop fighting each other and start tending to themselves. As the Dhammapada reminds us, you yourself must strive. The Buddhas only point the way. Your partner can walk beside you. They can hold your hand. They can witness your tears. But only you can heal what lives within you. If these words are meeting you in a season of confusion or quiet heartache, please know you are not alone. Many walk this path. Many have felt the same weight. If this teaching brings you even a moment of clarity or relief, consider subscribing to Buddha Coha. Your presence here helps us continue sharing gentle Buddhist wisdom for modern life, creating a sanctuary where healing and awareness grow together. You can pause, breathe, and return whenever you're ready. The path is not rushed, it is walked. Part 5. Awakening, not completion. The true purpose of partnership. We grow up on stories of happily ever after, of two halves becoming whole, of love as the final destination where all loneliness ends. But Buddhist wisdom offers a quieter, more liberating truth. Love is not meant to complete you, it is meant to awaken you. Think of a lotus flower. It does not bloom in clean, still water. It rises from mud, from darkness, from decay. The mud is not the enemy of the lotus. It is the condition for its beauty. So it is with marriage. The friction, the misunderstandings, the moments of doubt. They are not signs that love has failed. They are the very soil from which deeper awareness grows. When we expect a partner to fill our emptiness, we place an impossible weight on their shoulders. No human can carry the burden of another's unmet childhood needs, unprocessed grief, or unexamined fears. And when they inevitably fall short, we feel betrayed, not because they broke a promise, but because we asked them to be something they were never meant to be, our savior. The purpose of a karmic relationship is not comfort, it is clarity. It is not to give you peace, but to show you where you are still at war with yourself. Even the most painful connections carry this gift. They strip away illusion, they force honesty, they ask again and again, will you keep running, or will you finally turn inward? There is a beautiful teaching in the Zen tradition. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The outer life may not change. The dishes still pile up. The bills still arrive. The misunderstandings still happen. But the inner relationship to it all shifts completely. So it is with love. You may still argue. You may still feel fear. But you no longer believe the story that your partner is the source of your suffering. You see the pattern. You honor the lesson. You choose presence over projection. And in that choice, love matures. It stops being a demand. It becomes a practice. a daily return, a quiet vow to meet each other not as perfect beings, but as fellow travelers learning to walk gently on the same earth. Part 6. Breaking the cycle, from karmic repetition to conscious love. Karma is not a life sentence, it is a curriculum, and like any curriculum, it can be completed. The moment you recognize a pattern, you are no longer trapped by it. Awareness is the key that turns the lock. Many couples find themselves caught in what modern psychology calls repetition compulsion and what Buddhist teachers call karmic looping. You attract the same dynamic. You replay the same hurt. You swear you'll never do it again, and yet, here you are. Why? Because unexamined pain seeks familiar containers. The mind confuses intensity with intimacy. It mistakes chaos for passion. It returns to what it knows, even when what it knows causes suffering. But here is the grace within the cycle. Every time the pattern returns, it returns with a little more light. The first time, you react blindly. The second time, you notice the reaction. The third time, you pause before speaking. The fourth time, you breathe through the trigger. This is not failure. This is evolution. This is the heart learning its own rhythm. The Buddha taught the concept of dependent origination, how one condition leads to another in an unbroken chain. Thought leads to emotion. Emotion leads to speech. Speech leads to action. Action leaves an imprint. But he also taught that the chain can be broken, not by force, not by escape, but by mindful interruption. When you feel the old anger rising, place your feet firmly on the ground. Feel the earth beneath you. Whisper, "I am here. This is now. I do not have to repeat the past." Conscious love begins in that space between stimulus and response. It is the choice to listen instead of defend, to soften instead of armor, to say, "I'm hurting," instead of "you're wrong." It is the courage to tend your own garden, so you stop demanding your partner grow flowers in your soil. As Thich Nhat Hanh gently reminded us, when you love someone, the best thing you can offer is your presence. How can you love if you are not there? Presence is not perfection. It is willingness. It is showing up exactly as you are and allowing your partner to do the same. It is looking into their eyes and seeing not an opponent, but a fellow human carrying their own invisible weights. And in that seeing, the battlefield becomes a sanctuary. Part 7. Gentle reminders and daily practice for mindful relationships. If you are walking through a season of friction in your marriage, please hear this. You are not failing. You are unfolding. The very fact that you feel the ache, that you question, that you long for deeper peace, this is not weakness. This is wisdom stirring. This is your heart refusing to sleepwalk through love any longer. Let us pause here just for a moment. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out gently. Feel the weight of your body supported by the chair, the floor, the earth. You are safe. You are allowed to heal at your own pace. You do not need to fix everything today. You only need to be willing to see clearly. Here are 3 simple practices to bring Buddhist mindfulness into your daily relationships. First, the pause before reaction. When tension rises, place one hand on your heart. Take 3 conscious breaths. Ask yourself, am I responding to now or reacting to then? This tiny space changes everything. It creates room for choice. It returns you to your center. It reminds you that you are not your trigger. You are the awareness behind it. Second, the mirror reflection. Once a week, sit quietly with a journal and ask, what is my partner showing me about myself? Write without judgment. not to fix them, to understand you. Notice where you feel defensive. Notice where you feel small. Notice where you feel afraid. These are not flaws, they are doorways. Walk through them with kindness. Third, the offering of presence. Each day, give your partner 5 minutes of undivided attention. No phones, no agendas, no problem solving, just listening, as if their words were sacred, because in a way, they are. They are the voice of your own heart, speaking through another. When you listen deeply, you heal deeply, not just them, yourself. Remember, karmic love is not about finding someone who never triggers you. It is about finding someone who helps you meet your triggers with grace. It is not about avoiding conflict. It is about transforming conflict into compassion. It is not about staying because you're trapped. It is about staying because you're awake. And if your path leads you to release a relationship, do so with reverence. Not all karmic bonds are meant to last a lifetime. Some are bridges. Some are teachers. Some are simply meant to show you what you're ready to outgrow. Letting go can be an act of profound mindfulness. Honor it. Bless it. Trust that the lesson remains even when the person departs. Part 8. Closing reflection. The lotus does not rush. Love, in its truest form, is not a destination. It is a mirror, a teacher, a gentle, relentless invitation to come home to yourself. The person you married did not arrive by accident. They arrived by design, not to complete you, but to reveal you. Not to carry your pain, but to help you transform it. Not to give you a perfect life, but to give you a conscious one. Every argument that leaves you breathless, every silence feels heavy, every moment you want to walk away, but choose to stay and breathe. These are not signs of broken love. They are signs of love doing its deepest work. They are the mud, and you are the lotus. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You do not need to have it all figured out to walk this path. You only need to be willing. Willing to look inward. Willing to pause. Willing to forgive yourself for the times you reacted from old wounds. Willing to try again, softer, wiser, more present. The Buddha taught that the heart, when trained in mindfulness, becomes like a clear lake. It reflects the sky without holding on to the clouds. So it is with conscious partnership. You will still see storms, you will still feel the wind, but you will no longer believe you are the storm. You will remember that you are the space that holds it. If this message resonated with your heart, if it brought even a moment of clarity, relief, or quiet recognition, please consider subscribing to Buddha Coha. Your support helps us continue sharing these gentle teachings, creating a space where ancient wisdom meets modern life, where healing is never rushed, and where every seeker is welcomed exactly as they are. Leave a comment below, share one insight, one question, or simply one word that describes your journey right now. You are not walking this path alone. We are here, listening, walking with you. Before we part, let us return to the breath. In and out. However your relationship looks today, may you meet it with curiosity instead of criticism. May you see the karmic threads not as chains, but as compasses. May you remember that every trigger is a teacher, every conflict a classroom, and every moment of presence a step toward freedom. The lotus does not rush. It simply rises, and so will you. Thank you for listening. May your heart be light, may your love be wise, and may you always remember you are exactly where you need to be to awaken. Subscribe to Buddha Coha to hear more mindful stories, Buddhist wisdom for modern life, and gentle guidance on the path to inner peace. Until next time, walk softly, Breathe deeply, love consciously.